going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now in today's episode, I've got the back squat along with a bunch of other things. So let's pop into today's workout and let's get started. So for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be doing the back squat. And the idea is just to kind of work up to a 3-rep max and see how I feel. Because I'm doing that deadlift road to 500 pounds, and I don't want to fatigue myself, but back squat definitely helps the deadlift if you do it correctly. And as I'm going up in weight, I'm also going to be doing some pull-ups. Not only does it build your upper back, but it stretches out your spine and prepares your upper back to sit on the back as you're going up in weight on the back squats. And some weighted sit-ups. Great way to prime the core as you're going up and practicing your breathing and bracing. That is going to be the strength giant set for the day. And yes, I definitely need some sun. Look at my legs. They are whiter than white. They are like clear plastic. And that's kind of the whole point of today. It's a very warm day, and the idea was to get my legs exposed to the sun because they desperately need it. Now, since I've started that series, Road to 500 Pounds for the deadlift, I must take it easy on the back squat. So the idea is to just kind of work in rep schemes that are going to be able to easily progress every week. So I'm not burning myself out every single time I set foot in the gym. The idea is to have the back squat complement the deadlift and not compete with my central nervous system so that it affects my deadlift. But it's not a perfect science, so we're going to have to see how this goes. I'm definitely not a scientist. So I'm just going to kind of just gingerly see how it goes. And if I can hit my goal weight today, then that would be ecstatic. And if not, then that's okay, because the primary goal is to do well in the deadlift. But that's the reason why I'm also doing those weighted ab mat sit-ups and those pull-ups, because the pull-ups not only help with the back squat, like I said before, by stretching out my spine and preparing the upper back for that barbell to sit on the meaty portion of your back as you're going up in heavy weight, but it also helps with the deadlift, because the deadlift essentially is the same kind of mechanics with the upper back. And the last time that I maxed out on the axle for a 1-rep max for a lifetime PR, I lost a lot of steam on the lockout, and that was because my upper back needs some work. So that's why I'm doing pull-ups in conjunction with the back squat. And the weighted ab mat sit-ups also help with both the back squat and with the deadlift, because you need a really tough and tight core, and it also helps with your breathing and bracing if you add a weight to it. But another thing that I'm doing, which you might notice, is I'm actually putting on knee sleeves for the first time in a very long time. I've been back squatting without knee sleeves for a while, and I got up to a pretty decent weight without any knee sleeves. But the point is, I'm pigeon-toed. That doesn't help. And I also ran a lot and played sports growing up, and there's no more cartilage on the inner part of my knee, probably because I'm pigeon-toed. So since I was given a deformity from birth, apparently, I'm not going to be able to wear knee sleeves for too long, and knee sleeves are highly recommended because you don't want to have your patella tendon slip out and cause catastrophic problems for you in the future. So I am putting on knee sleeves, and because I've been practicing without knee sleeves, I kind of felt like that helped my hips a lot and not get any hip impingements, because I feel like the constriction of the knee sleeves actually makes my hips feel a lot tighter. So now that I've kind of figured out where I like to be without knee sleeves and where my form is, where I could get below depth, now I'm hoping that that will carry over with the knee sleeves and that I won't face that problem coming up. But again, I'm not a scientist, nor am I the greatest weightlifter in the world. I'm just an average dude that's trying to get out here and better himself every single day. So I just kind of do this by feel, and I kind of have a history and a track record of doing the wrong thing. So now I have enough history to do the right thing by learning from doing all the wrong things. And oh boy, are those legs really desperate for sun. I mean, look at those things. Those things, hopefully by the time I'm done working out, my legs will be getting a lot more tan than what I'm seeing right now, because right now they look like they need a whole lot of help from the sun. Now I'm coming up to my top set, which was supposed to be 365 pounds, but I decided to up it to 385 pounds because I was feeling pretty good. And I kind of felt like if I didn't do this weight, then I would have just wasted the workout. It would have been too easy at 365. I only did 1 rep for 350, kind of just feeling out to see if I would do this weight, and it moved like butter. So now it's just time to do a 3-rep max with 385 pounds. And this ended up being perfect because that second rep got a little sticky. That was just because it was moving a little bit too far forward up my neck. So I got it much more controlled that time, and you could see that it moved a whole lot better. So this went well. I'm always happy when I can hit 385 for 3 and feeling good. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I'm doing the front squat. Now the front squat is essentially a back squat, but now it's sitting on your front rack position. Now what's good about this is it does a lot. First of all, it's the best complementary movement you could ever do for a back squat, because it's the antagonistic movement. You've worked the back of your body, now you're working the front plane of your body. And this exercise particularly really taxes your core and your quads much better than a back squat. which then carries over into the back squat, but it also carries a lot over into the deadlift and to a lot of strongman movements because everything is always in the front plane of your body. And because you have to have really good shoulder mobility in order to get into a good front rack position, this also helps with the overhead press because I feel like switching back to a barbell from going from an axle and a log to a barbell in the continental clean and press, this movement always puts my shoulders out in front and makes me have to get into a good solid position when I'm going to be squatting. As a result, when I catch it into the front rack from the continental clean and press, this should also carry over a lot into completing that lift and being comfortable in that front rack position and then pressing it overhead. And I continue to keep it in the same strength giant set form as before by doing those pull-ups and from doing those weighted ab mat sit-ups, just to kind of keep it all in the same format. Now for the assistance giant set, I was only doing one round, which in CrossFit we called a chipper. Just means you're just going to chip away with a lot of reps. And because it's hot, and because it's sunny, and because the ground is viciously hot, I decided to torture myself and do some farmer walking lunges. Great exercise to do, especially on your leg day, because it's very functional. It's something that you might do in real life. And since you're working each leg individually and you've added weight, so it's adding more pressure to that leg and more resistance, but it's also making your shoulders sway to and from, which is going to make your core work a lot harder. And it's going to work the polar antagonistic movement of your shoulders, which is super healthy for your shoulders. Highly recommend doing any kind of farmer's walks for shoulder impingements because it really alleviates that. So doing this in conjunction with walking lunges is perfect. And then I took away the weight from the ab mat sit up, and now I'm just kind of doing 30 reps in a row with that ab mat sit up. Really like doing this because the ab mat actually makes me have to increase the range of motion a lot. That makes it a lot better for my hips as well. My hips have to get involved, which is really good because they were already hurting from all those back squats and front squats. And then I was doing what I like to call, like, I don't know, a banded single leg, like step in. I don't really know what it's called, but the idea is you put all of your weight onto one foot, and then with the other foot, you bring it out and touch it with your toe. And then you come back to the middle. And the idea is it's going to work one leg because the leg that's taking all the pressure is standing there and having to hold all the resistance. So it's getting like a static strength. But then the other leg that is going out and coming in, it's going to be working the inner thigh and then pulling that hip muscle out to give it some mobility. So really like doing this. I don't really know where I learned how to do this, but I really love doing it. And for the accessory giant set, I was exhausted, but we still have more work to do, and accessories are very important. So I'm doing something kind of similar to what I did last time on my deadlift day. I'm doing a statical, but this time I'm bringing it in with my biceps and then holding it for 6 seconds for 5 repetitions, just because I really want to get my upper back involved and I want that static strength to carry over into the deadlift. And then hitchhikers, which is kind of like another variation of a face pull. But I really love doing this on my deadlift and squat days because it really helps my shoulders out. And then for the pushing days, I do the face pull variations. And the bike erg. Now I know you're laughing. This thing is from like 1930s and they're calling and they'd like their bike back. But I'm telling you, this bike is wonderful and it does wonders for my knee, which is why I'm doing it, because I really feel like after a very vicious leg day, I could cycle all that lactic acid out of my leg. But also I'm really targeting my left knee to make sure that I'm getting my inner knee some strength. That was the total workout for the day. Alrighty, so after an entire leg day, I am done and I'm ready to go inside, drink water, take some protein, and just kind of relax and to get out of this hot sun. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope that you all learned something new and that you enjoyed working out with me. I'll see you next time. Thanks.